You ready? All right, we are going to cover arrays in JavaScript. Arrays are one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite topics in JavaScript. Arrays are very cool. So, what is an array? An array is essentially a collection of data. So far, what we've seen is we know how we can create variables, right? We might say, let name equal to, let's say, Jessica, right? Okay, maybe we have an age for Jessica. We said it was her 30th birthday in a previous tutorial, but now we want to get her email address. And we're starting to get like a lot of data just, in these random variables, right? There are different ways to organize data when you work with more than just a name or an age, etc. And this brings us nicely to other data types such as arrays and objects. So what is an array? Well, an array is a collection of data. An array can store multiple different data types, but for this tutorial, we'll just work with an array of strings. So we can do an array of heroes, for example. So we'll say let heroes, I beg your pardon, equal to. And what you do is you use square bracket notation. So this is going to be an array. So we're going to work with DC heroes. So we're going to have Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Robin. Okay, right. So these are the heroes. Right. So this is an array. Okay. So we're saying that heroes equal to, and we have this array here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just log out the heroes array to the console, and let's have a look and see what we get. Okay. Let's try that again. Heroes. Awesome. Okay. Semicolon to end that statement. So what I've done is I've created an array called heroes, let heroes equal to, using square bracket notation, and we have this string here. So Superman is known as the first element in the array, Wonder Woman is the second element, Batman is the third element, and Robin is the fourth element, right? So let's now log this out to the console and see what we get. So if I save and refresh, we're seeing here we're getting our array. So we have Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Robin, okay? Now the first thing you'll notice is while we as humans would say Superman, and by the way, every different string in this array is known as an element, okay? So Superman's an element, Wonder Woman's an element, Batman, Robin, etc., right? So we would say, like, Superman is the first hero in the array. But what you'll notice is you have a 0 here, okay? Then a 1, then a 2, then a 3. So JavaScript is a 0-based language. And what that means is JavaScript starts counting at 0. Actually, computers start counting at 0, right? So what we have are these key value pairs, okay? So for JavaScript, it's going to say that heroes at index 0 is Superman, heroes at index 1 is Wonder Woman, heroes at index 2 is Batman, and heroes at index 3 is Robin, okay? So you notice we have these key value pairs. So at index 0, you've access to Superman, and at index 1, you've access to Wonder Woman. So what do I mean by that? Well, instead of logging out the entire array using const.log heroes, we can just access, using square bracket notation, whatever element we want based on their index. So if we want to access Superman, I just, inside the square brackets there, put 0. So if I now save and refresh, and remember, heroes at index 0 is Superman, so if I now refresh, we get Superman. Okay, awesome. Now, if you wanted to access Wonder Woman, what do you think you would do? Well, you change that to be 1, right? Because remember, this is heroes at index 0, heroes at index 1. So this is an important concept to know when you're working with arrays, that JavaScript starts counting at 0. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we get Wonder Woman. Okay, awesome. Now, just for practice, can you get Batman? Well, yeah, change that to 2. Remember, heroes at index 0, heroes at index 1, heroes at index 2. So that will get you Batman. I'll just save and refresh to show you. Good practice. And then if you want Robin, we just change that to the number 3. Okay? And why is it 3? Remember, heroes at index 0, heroes at index 1, heroes at index 2, heroes at index 3. So that will be Robin. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so the next thing to note is if I just don't access an individual element in the array, and let's just log out all the heroes again. there's another piece of data we're provided with an array. And you'll notice here, if I hit on the drop down, we get this property called length, okay, of 4. So you're also able to access the length property of an array. So if I, at the end of heroes, type heroes dot length, okay, this is going to log out the length of the array, which we know has 4 elements in it. So if I go down to Chrome and refresh, we access the length property of 4. So being able to know the length of an array is very useful. We'll see that later on in the course, because arrays work beautifully, by the way, with loops and arrays, very well work together. Okay, so the key takeaway from this tutorial is we've now seen in this course our first array together. It is an array called heroes. It has 4 elements in it, and it is an array of strings, okay? But you don't always have to have, an array of strings. You can also have an array of numbers if you like. So let's work on that in the next tutorial.